My name's Chris Basu, and I'm here at 8 Covanjon. I live at 225 Newmarket. I'm here at Multitech Laboratory on Thursday, June the 8th, and I'm reporting a case that I've recently become aware of. Multitech Laboratory, who's owned by my father, run by my father, has been using expired reagents and expired, I don't know, drugs, different medical testing things, all expired, many expired. You know, I just think back to my great-grandparents, my grandparents, you know, people I care about, and if they came into this lab and got a blood test done with some sort of reagent from 2003, which is what is in there, and their results came back, you know, wrong, and then they had to get some sort of transfusion or some sort of medical service done on them, and they passed away from that, it would be an injustice for me not to speak out. Even though this is my father, this is not right. We just changed governments a year ago. We walk for change. We, you know, this country is yearning for change, and change comes in doing the right thing. Many people I find in Guyana will be quiet and not deal with an issue like as big as this. And I find it my civic duty to report this. So that's what I'm doing today, is I'm reporting the fact that my father is using outdated, expired reagents and medical supplies, and I want this place closed, and I want the proper authorities involved, because that's the right thing to do.
What's the name of your father?
My father's name is Errol Basu, Dr. Errol Basu.
How long has he been carrying on this business here?
He's had the lab since 2002. I was here for the grand opening, and has been running it ever since. So he moved from Covanjon to Georgetown, around Georgetown, always had a base here. So I just became aware of this last Thursday or Friday, and I've been calling the authorities, public health, the chief health officer, the ministries, to report this, because again, it's not right what people are spending their money on tests and putting their health in the hands of somebody who is not doing the right thing.
What are some of the things that you discovered within his building that suggests that there are
well, when I went in
books?
On Thursday to ask him to open up the house locks, I noticed that his drawer was open, and there was expired Plagra, which is, I guess, a Viagra, in his office, so right in his own office. On looking in the lab later on, I noticed that there was expired reagents which are done for testing of some sort. I'm not a medical doctor by any means, so I noticed that there was all these test tubes that are sealed in the fridge, and many of them are expired. I noticed in the back fridges there's in use, and there's a whole bunch of boxes of all expired things from 2010, 2011, 2012. I also noticed that there was one of those reagents that was expired in 2003. That's 13 years ago this expired. So, you know, and I have pictures of it. So,
so he cannot claim that he forgot it in his fridge.
It's actively being used. So why would him and his staff keep expired things in a fridge? You know, and then why would they have active samples going on right now that are in with people's names on them, with expiry dates right next to them of 2003? That's you can't claim anything. There's a whole stockpile of drugs in the back, about 6 feet tall, of more expired drugs. So I don't know what he's using those for, but there's for high blood pressure, there's HIV. There's a whole bunch of different drugs. So again, I'm not a medical specialist, but metformin, I believe, is a name that I remember. But there's a lot of drugs back there, boxes, like, I don't know, 50 or 100 boxes, cases of these drugs.
And what is it that you are expecting the authorities, or you're calling on the authorities to do in this situation?
Well, I mean, if you have any laboratory or anywhere that the public places their trust and their health and their life in the hands of, and these institutions are using expired and, you know, drugs that may or may not work, this place needs to be shut down. There's you know, and he should be brought to justice in one form or another.
So there's a possibility many persons over the year have received wrong results due to the process of their medical applications towards the facility.
If he sees an average of 10 patients a day, and I'm sure some days are more, some days are less, and you have expired drugs from 2003 that are being used, you've got 13 years times 3,000 samples every single day or every year times, you know, 13 years. When you start doing the math, it's so significant of how many people could have wrong diagnosis right now and be walking around thinking they're fine, or their blood is fine, or whatever the case may be, or they may be seeking treatment on something that is totally wrong. It's mind-boggling to understand the implications of how this can affect families and loved ones when they're sent to Multitech Laboratory and they're given you know, some sort of diagnosis based on expired reagents. You know, and again, I believe more people should speak out, regardless of family or not. You got to do the right thing, especially when it comes to health and, you know, people's loved ones. Yeah, there's, I don't know what more to say. I don't know, you know, how I can get the authorities' attention more than by showing them the evidence. This isn't hearsay. This is actually in use every single day. And again, I just became aware of it. How long has this been going on here at Multitech?
And is he the only doctor that's been operating here or doing carrying out his duties here at Multitech?
I only know of him. So yeah, he does the tests. He's a medical biochemist, and he's been doing all the tests. From what I understand, he's the only doctor in here, and then he has a whole bunch of staff that, and I don't know if the staff know. I would assume that they know. If they're laboratory technicians, they should be looking at expiry dates, and especially if you open up a box. If I could see it, and I'm not in the medical profession, and you're a trained technician, you would assume that they know about it.
So you're saying that his staff obviously knows about these expired drugs?
Well, all I can say is that I saw them when I opened up the fridge, and it was staring me in the face.
Mm-hmm.
So unless you're blind, but then you shouldn't be doing testing if you're blind. So, you know, I would assume that they know about these expired reagents, because they're on every single beaker that I can see, all the expiry dates. And especially if, you know, it's not like they expired last month. We're talking 2003. So if you don't clean out your fridge for 13 years as a laboratory, you got a problem. That's not, you know, you should be going through and double checking. I mean, even if people have expired tuna on the shelves, they should be taking those off. This is a lot more than tuna. We're talking things that will affect your health and lives. So I would assume that they would be smart enough with PhDs and whatever, that they would go through and double check. And if I can see it, I'm pretty sure everybody else can see it too. But maybe people are playing a blind eye, I don't know.